So, the update everyone's been waiting for, the map update. So, before we got the issues with the server happening, I was helping test out Moskul. Moskul is now designed to be a evolution map. It has the stats of evolution mobs. It does not have the EXP rewards of evolution mobs, so be aware of that. There's kind of no point to grind it right now, but that was where we left off. Now, with this update, everything below this point, and including the Reconstruction Agency, if the map level is above level 150 and below level 250, it's getting reworked up to Granite Hills. Even though Granite Hills is above the level limit, it's going to be the last on the chain. It's going to be designed to challenge players, even if they are relatively well geared, they have a decent class match tree. It's the end of the tutorial, basically. Up to that point, if you know what your class does and you are geared relatively well and you have basic gaming skills, you should have fairly low issue going through the story. Any of the maps you're going through should be pretty straightforward. This chunk is also going to get reworked even though it's below the level limit, just because it's in a little vacuum there. Everything around it is reworked except for this little chunk over here, obviously, because it's part of the Orchard side. But the Tyler Monastery and Natir Watchtower are both going to be evolution maps as well. There's going to be several other evolution map changes. Lot 1 and 2 are going to be fully reworked to remove those invulnerable mobs and just make the whole map an evolution map instead. The crystal stuff you use there is being repurposed for the Fletcher skills to be able to craft arrows. And honestly, that's kind of it in terms of the maps. We were going to redo the Orsha side before the server issues, but it's low priority. It probably won't happen now. It'll be put off for a little while. I know there's a lot of players who, I was a player who started on Orsha side back when the game released, and, I would like to be able to go through the Orsha side as my new characters, but it's not something you need. It's purely luxury. So dedicating time to working on that when there's so many maps to be redone there, and there's just so many other issues that I would say are more important. It'll come down to what Oz decides, but I would say stuff like the Peltesta using all of their SP to slap with their shield once needs to be fixed before we worry about a alternative progression path. Long term, it definitely is intended that Orsha is just going to be a slightly more challenging version of Calipedia's progression path. Veteran players can take Orsha, new players can take Calipedia. That's the long-term goal. It's also why we're cutting off at this point. Everything up here is going to be designed to be more so at Granish Trail level of progression. So these will actually be much harder than the other maps their level. And it'll be, if you're a new player, you'll probably want to follow the lower area maps, not want to go up there. If you're an older player, once you get to the 200s, you're probably going to want to follow, or near the 200s even, you're going to want to follow this path instead, and then progress up here, rather than going to Granites. Just about giving players different options of the speed they want to progress at, the level of challenge they're willing to deal with, and the level of reward they want. Everything up here will all be treated as post-game, and technically Granite Hills is the first map that is going to be considered post-game. And by post-game, I mean post-tutorial. Up to this point, the maps are very generous in terms of the progression rate versus how much power the players can gain, even if they don't know what they're doing. After this point, you're going to have to know what you're doing. By level 250, you should have learned enough about your class to be able to deal with the strength of the mobs at these maps. But other than that, that's pretty much the map update. It's simple, but it's a lot. The last thing to note with the maps is, even though the mobs are getting scaled to be reasonable for their map level, the spawn rates are not being touched yet. The spawns in maps can be decent to completely awful. I mean, it's just vanilla spawns. That will be adjusted after all the balancing is done for the maps. It's a whole different thing. It's relatively easy to do, it's not part of the normal mob logic. The maps have their own map logic for how they spawn mobs and how often they respawn them, how many total mobs can be spawned. So, all of that just has to be done separate. And once all the maps are in wherever place they're going to be, whether they're going to have elite mobs or they're just going to have normal fodder mobs, we'll decide how many mobs need to be on the maps, obviously. Even a lot of the lower level maps that have been adjusted still don't have spawn modifications. In general, there should be more mobs on most maps, and a few maps will just be left where they're at with elite mobs. But that covers the map updates. There are a couple more videos I would like to make. It's just a matter of, like, I have some stuff that I want to do for other games that I've been playing. There's a long list of things that I want to make some videos on, and I also have to help out with the map adjustments and everything else. In terms of seeds, I do want to make a video on my archer. Like, it's not so much my archer, but the way archer plays now. This is just kind of a test build, really. You don't need all of these. But, yeah, archer now has a bouncing arrow mechanic. These things will kill me. But you get more bounces based on your AoE ratio, and they can find new targets every time they hit a new target, so you get very massive range with this change, and even though those things could kill me, they got me. Like I said, I knew I was going to die here. I'm not geared for these mobs. They'll just one-tap me. I would need to actually put in some vit if I want to come to these maps. Or some con, I guess. Not vit. RO logic. But yeah, I want to do a full video on the archer, explain how it should be played rather than being a pure glass cannon, which is what I am right now. And I also want to do one on the monk, because the monk is finally mostly finalized, I guess. I think its unarmed stats still haven't been adjusted, but otherwise it has the kit that it's going to have. And it's another class that could use a video. There's a lot going on with it. And I guess also the new swordsman. I've been having a lot of fun with the dual wield build, but again, it has some niches you kind of have to know if you want to go dual wield. So I'll probably do videos on all of those. It'll just be a little while before I get to them. For now, later.